Hello and welcome to my home. I'm going to get right into it today. I'm going to show you how to winterize your blueberry bushes that are in containers. But be sure to check out some of my other playlists. I have videos on planting a variety of vegetables in containers, product reviews, easy to prepare recipes, and meditation videos. So come on, let's get to winterizing those blueberry bushes. Now, like many of the trees in your area, the leaves are turning and they're going to be shedding their leaves, and it's going to become dormant as the weather gets colder. And when your temperatures start to get 45 degree and lower, you need to think about protecting it. So one of the things is the container is very exposed, so the roots are exposed. So you can do a wrapping. I'm going to use burlap to wrap it in to keep it warm around the base. You can use a burlap sack if it's large enough to put the container in, or you can take some burlap and wrap it around, and I'm going to show you that. So my container here is fairly large, so what I have is a roll of burlap. This is 16 gauge. It does have some holes in there. I have cut it so that I can fold it into the pot and cover the outside piece of it. Let me give you a better shot of that. The cover around it, and I'm just pushing it into the soil. Let me get my gloves on, because this is about to get a little dirty. And just push it down into the container. And just take your time. I'm going to move and just fold it in down between the dirt and the container itself. And I'm going to put another layer around it to give some additional warmth. And the goal is to protect the roots. Generally, when the blueberries in the ground actually acts as a little bit of an insulator to keep the roots warm enough to go through dormancy and get to the spring. But since we are above ground, this container is exposing the roots during that cold wind coming by and the temperatures. So we need to insulate this pot. And then on top, put about a couple of inches of mulch, and you're good to go. And I'm going to show you, if you have a smaller pot, you can use one of those burlap knapsacks, and I'll show you that. Now, this is a smaller container. This is not a blueberry bush. This is some of my spinach. But if you have a small container like this, you can actually get some of these knapsacks. It has a bottom. It's just a knapsack, and I actually put the pot inside of here. So it's inside, the container's inside a knapsack, and I'm pulling mulch around it as an insulator to keep it nice and comfortable. Also take some mulch and spread it within the container itself around the base of your blueberry bush, about 2 to 3 inches, to give it some more warmth in addition to wrapping it. So whether you have a smaller container or a larger container, you can use burlap to your advantage to help get your blueberry bush through those cold winter months. The other thing is for your blueberries is you will need to trim them a bit. Now, this is a young one. This is just barely a year old. I got this in March of 2021, and you don't really prune it the first several years. Maybe like after third year you may need to. But the only thing I'm going to do here is see if there are any dead limbs. And I can tell because these are flexible, nice and tender, flexible. Let me give you a better shot. These are nice and tender and flexible. The color is pretty color on the stems, and the only thing is I see a few ends This little tip right here is a different color. It feels stiff, so I'm going to go ahead and trim that off so that I have a nice start for the next year. This is very flexible, so I don't have to trim that. There's another one. Let's see. This one I think I need to trim right there. There's another thing to look for. Sometimes your limbs will do this crisscross thing. And I'm going to bring you in a little closer. So right here, these two limbs are crisscrossing and actually touching each other and rubbing against each other. Now this can cause disease to set in, so we want to take care of that. It's just like if you had a hangnail, it'd be bothering you, so you would trim your hangnail and just so it doesn't further bother you or even get infected. So you need to trim that off your plant. Now I'm going to share with you a few other things to do when you're winterizing your blueberry bush. Now during the cold season, you're not going to be watering it like you do during the warmer weather, but you do need to keep it moist. So I would do the, poke your finger into your container about 1 inch deep to make sure that it's still moist and add water. If you live in a really snowy area, you may not have to water it at all, but just keep that in mind and check on it. You may be tempted to put your blueberry containers in the garage or the shed. The only problem with that is you still need to provide some type of light for it. So unless you're prepared to put something like, a grow light in the shed or garage, you will probably do better to leave it outside. Fertilizing. Nope, you don't fertilize when it's cold. Actually, with the blueberries, you need to stop fertilizing towards the end of the summer. And that may seem counterintuitive because you may think, well, it needs something to eat to take it through the winter. But that's not true. What'll happen is if you fertilize it too close to the end of the summer, it'll force the blueberry to grow, not force it, but it'll feel energized to produce some nice little shoots, but those little shoots, those young tender shoots, won't make it through the winter, and that can cause damage to the whole plant. So that's why you're not going to fertilize it. Towards the end, midsummer, you don't need to fertilize your blueberry bush. Now, I'm not going to put any type of wrap over top of the blueberry plant, only because sometimes when you get those freezing rains and the snow, the burlap gets cold and wet and freezing, and that coldness touching the blueberry stems can also cause damage. This winter season without blueberries, and in the spring we're going to have some nice yummy fruit. If you like that video, hit the thumbs up like button and consider subscribing to my channel and hit the notification bell so you know when I've uploaded a new video. That's it for now.